Let's see.
All
All right.
right.
We're live. So, guys, everybody that's coming in, it might be a minute for guys to come on, trickle on in, but I appreciate everybody coming and joining. Uh, if you don't know who he is, I know where you've been on my channel because I've been talking to Coach Ray for a long time. We coached together out in Virginia Beach. I consider him a very close friend and a mentor. And this Coach Ray Colston, coach at Tallwood High School, but more importantly, owner of Coach Ray Inspires. Coach, I appreciate you coming and talking.
Oh no, I appreciate you having me. It's always good for like to touch base with you one because you know how I was like, dang, my bro leaving when you left the school,
Yeah.
but always chopping it up with you always comes back, like brings back memories, and at the same time, it's always good to just share stories and it's an honor for you to say that I'm a mentor to you because I feel like what I'm saying we work well together. We kind of became bros over the years, but feeling
Yeah.
like somebody to say that you're actually a mentor to them means a lot.
Yeah, like I legit like whenever you post something, like whether it be your TikToks or whether it be videos, from just speaking engagements you have, I always tune in, always listen. And I got notes just straight up, almost like it's clinic talk, like straight up from your speeches. So yeah, I definitely take that and roll with it. I just I always try to want to give credit where it is because I think I screen recorded a video of one of your TikToks, and I was like, that was great stuff. And I put it on Twitter, and I was like, make sure I want to give credit where it is because like I want people to be like, who was that? Oh, that's Coach Ray. So
Oh no, man,
try to get
it's
your
my
name out
honor. I
there.
appreciate you for real because
Yeah,
it's all I tell people all the time. It's all passion, no breaks.
yeah,
That's just what it is. It's all God.
yeah.
It's all God. There's no question or doubt in my mind of why I am the way I am. It's all God. Point blank. Period.
And that's why I tell people like some people are like, well, why are you getting coaching and all that stuff? And I always tell them two things. I'm like, it's a selfish reason and a non-selfish reason. Like one selfish reason, I love ball. I just X's and O's or just calling plays or watching football or athletics. I love it. Non-selfish reason, I'm called. Like it's a purpose. I know you use the word purpose a lot. Like that's my purpose. Like I feel like I've been called to do this and to mentor young men, and just this is the space to do it, whether it be in the building or on the field. So
Right.
that's how I feel about it. I know you do too.
And to touch base on that, the reason why I'm so heavy on the purpose part is because I went through a stretch of time where I didn't know
Yeah.
what my purpose was. I was coaching and I was aimlessly and selfishly coaching, if that makes any sense, because it was cool to be known as coach. And so I'm doing it blindly and just out there coaching. And it didn't feel passionate until I stepped away from it for like about a year. And no matter what I was doing or tried to do, God always reared me back to somehow working with kids. And this is beyond the coaching part. This is just when you realize, like, okay, God, it's something that you need me to do.
Yeah.
Because no matter how many times I tried to step away, He brought me back.
Yeah.
And the older I got, the more evident it became. I realized how easy it was for me to connect with teenagers, and connect with middle school students, and working in youth at my church and all those things. Like it got easier. So with that being said, it's just that's why I realized it was purpose ordained probably about maybe 4 or 5 years ago
Yeah.
when it started to feel purposeful. Now I always had fun coaching. I always had fun. I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed working at the schools, but it became purposeful like 5 years ago because God literally was like, "This is why you here. You ain't here because football is the easy part for you. Like coaching is I've been coaching since I was 18. So, I'm coming up on 22 years of coaching. I can do that with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
But, and I've said this before, coaching is my ability. That's one ability that I have. And where people miss the difference between abilities and purpose, your ability is something you can do. Your purpose is why you're here. But the ability that you have is always pointing you in the direction of your purpose, if that makes any sense. See, some
Yeah.
people look at it like for example, you see somebody who can make cakes, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm a good baker. That's your ability. Your purpose is to bring people together with food.
Yeah.
That's your purpose. So that's why I'm very heavy on the purpose. Very heavy on the purpose.
Yeah, because I know you and I we share this as well. You know, when you working, you know, being doing an ISS and working in discipline, you get to deal with a certain type of kid. Um, those are the ones that not many people want to deal with.
Right.
You know, and we'll take it away from the field right quick. And those are the
Yeah.
ones that no one really wants to deal with at a certain moment. And that moment might be a bad moment for the kid in one day. You know,
Mhm.
it's bad. Something happened, a fight, attitude issue, something. It was a one isolated incident, and everything gets blown up, and now the kid's bad. You know, or maybe it's a string of incidents, and
Mhm.
now he's an issue. Well, we like to work with those guys or females because again, our purpose
Yeah.
because everybody, we're here to reach everybody. You know, it's not.
Everybody's not equipped
Oh,
to do it.
yeah,
Everybody's not equipped to reach kids, but anybody can teach in a
yeah,
classroom, but everybody's not equipped to reach kids. There's a
yeah,
difference. There's so many people who work in education but can't reach kids. You've been drawing a check for 20 years, but you ain't never reached no kid. No kid ever came back to you say, "Hey, can I get a letter of recommendation from you?" Or "I
yeah,
really appreciate what you did for me, help me with my life." There's a lot of teachers who don't get that. They're
yeah,
just drawing a check, and they write kids off so easily now. And I know we make jokes about kids and the behavior and things like that in jest, but if you really in it for the kids, you are in it for the kids. Good, bad, indifferent, weird, whatever, you're in it for them. You're 110-fold over. So the relationships you build to me are more important than just doing the job. If I'm not building relationships and bonds with these students, I'm failing them.
yeah,
That's just the reality.
yeah. So just define mentorship in your own words.
Mentorship is being able to pour back into someone without expecting anything in return. That's it. You're doing it because you're trying to see this person become better, and you're not looking for nothing in return. You're not looking for the payback. So many guys are, I'm a mentor, but you only seem to be mentoring the kids with stars,
Yeah,
or those are the only kids you around. You ain't around no kid who just trying to learn the game. You're not around a kid who wants to be an engineer. You're not around a kid who wants to be a musician. You're around the 5-star kid. That's who you want to mentor, because why? You think there's going to be some kickback.
mhm,
You think if he going to make it, he going to give you some kickback because you bought him a McChicken once. You think he owe you. That's not mentoring. Mentoring is I'm spending time with these kids. I'm not just here to be here with them. Like when I say spend time, yes, cool. You play Madden with them. You might take them to get some pizza. That's great. Spending time with them is when they're lost. The in between times, when they got confusion, when they hit your phone at midnight and it's like, "Coach, I'm thinking about committing suicide," or "Bro, like my mom ain't home yet. I don't know where she at." Or they need to get in the house because mom ain't home. So you take them with you. That's mentoring.
yeah,
That's when you decide I'm gonna pour into this kid's life and not just hope they go to the pros so I can hit them over the head for some money.
yeah. Me and one of my late mentor Cecil Mitchell, a great man.
Yeah, I remember
He,
you meeting him
yeah,
on a Zoom once a while back.
yeah. He was big on this, but he also would say there's a lot of third uncles out there
Oh, believe
that
it.
that just want to be like, I know you talk about it as well. They just want to be in the picture on signing day,
That's it.
and but they don't. But the 9 to 5, Sunday to Saturday, they're not there.
No, they
And
don't want to
yeah,
put in the work because the work means you actually got to grind with this kid. You're going to be there through the tough and the easy times. Everybody want to be there.
yeah,
Everybody want to be there when it's fun and easy. Don't nobody want to be there when the work got to be put in, when that kid is really struggling in school. And calling them and cussing them out to say, "Get your grades right." Ain't that okay? Cool. That's, he hears that at home. But are you going to spend time? Are you going to spend time with this kid to help him get his grades right? Are you going to take him with you somewhere where he can focus and do his homework? Or are you just, man, you need to keep your grades right, he ain't gonna be able to play ball? Like, no. Mentoring is putting in the work to help them be successful, not just telling them what they need to do to be successful.
yeah,
Everybody can tell them.
yeah. and as well to me because I got kids I still check in on. I don't even coach them anymore, or they're graduated. That it's also the follow through process.
Yes,
And just because they're not playing ball or they've graduated doesn't mean that okay now they fall off and I got more kids. Check in on kids.
yes.
Now, can you check in on hundreds and hundreds of kids all the time? No, but you have the ones you know that needed you, that you made a special connection with. Because I'm just saying this. I keep referencing what you've done because coaches got receipts, and he posts pictures with kids that he still follows up with, and he still calls and texts. That's the extra. That's the next thing. You can still you can call up a kid and they'll call you and hey coach I'm going through some stuff and you talk them through it or you meet up with them and you encourage them and stuff like that. But then once they're necessarily out of this situation, are you still checking up with them? Are you still following through? Are you still like, hey man, how's it going? How's school going? In college, or hey, how's work? Something like that's the extenuation when they're not necessarily an asset for you, whether it be in the school or on the field.
And it's at the end of the day, one of the best things that you can give anybody is your time. That's the one currency you can't get back. You can't recoup time. And if you're willing to sacrifice the time to say, I'm going to pour into this young person on a consistent basis, then you're giving them something that you can't get back, which means there's more value in that. So the thing with the kids like that I've coached or mentored and even just worked with over the years, they still contact me. I got grown men who will inbox me, hey coach, can we talk? Yep, here go my number. Because the job isn't done because they don't go to your school anymore. Because we have to make sure that they're successful beyond that. It's easy to make sure, and again, I keep harping on this, it's easy to make sure they look successful on the field. It's easy to show up on signing day. But after they graduate and college didn't work out and they trying to figure out what they need to do with their life and they calling you because you were their guiding light for 4 years. Who else are they going to call? Parents done kicked them out. You 18 now, you got to go. So now they coming to you. That's when you really got to turn it on because now they're becoming men and they're becoming grown women. They're becoming adults. They're becoming grown people. So now what are you going to do to help them become better adults? That's when it's like, all right, now that's going to tell me the type of person I really am.
So for people that might be listening, they're like, okay, this sounds good, but how do I do this?
Honestly, and I'll be very real with you. One of the things that I do is I do go around and I train mentors and mentor groups. So if anybody watching and you got some mentors in your area that need a training, I have strategies that I've used over the years. I promise you, they are foolproof and they work. How would you do this? You have to be open. Bottom line, if this is what you really say you want to do, you got to be open. And by that means taking that phone call at midnight, even though you're sleepy. That means having that hard conversation when they're 16, so you're not having the conversation while they're behind bars at 18. Because it's about being, and I say this, another thing that I use and I say is learn to be translucent, not too transparent. Because transparency can be used against you. And by that, I mean, you give them a little bit of you give them what they need to know, but you're not giving them the intimate details of your life. Coach, you got a girlfriend. Yes, I have a girlfriend. They don't need to know what y'all do at night. They don't need to know that, they don't need to know about your significant other and y'all's personal dynamic. They just need to know how you treat them. They need to see how you treat them. They need to hear how you're supposed to treat a significant other. That's being translucent. Transparent is showing them pictures, telling them about your personal stuff. You don't need to go that deep because you just need to be the model for them. Just be the model. The biggest important thing is consistency and being the model. If you can do those two things, you already on the right track.
Yeah, because most guys will tell you, they want to have a positive impact on young men, young women. They want to have, help create model citizens, with morals, all that stuff. So like that's why I wanted to do this. Like, hey, yeah, that sounds great on a resume when you're trying to get a job.
Yeah.
But how does that happen in an application for it? And then most of these people, they don't know how because they've never been taught. They probably weren't mentored themselves.
Yeah, and that's why it's very important to teach mentors how to properly mentor. Because I didn't get it right in the beginning. I did not. When I first started saying I'm a mentor kids, I dropped the ball a lot. I can admit that. And that's part of the growth process, is being able to say, no, I had some failures. I upset some kids. I hurt some kids' feelings. I made parents upset with me by how I dealt with certain things. But you keep moving. There's a growth process that comes because we don't all have it together. Just like I mentor kids, I have mentors. Because there are areas that I may not see it all. But you have to be willing to say, I don't know it all. So the strategies that I use, and let's be real, they're not hard. Translucent over transparent. Being there, and I say that as much as possible. Being there when they don't expect you to be there. That's being a good mentor. And when I say that, I mean, they might, say for example, they might have a job at, I don't know, a grocery store. And you just pop in from time to time to check on them. Somebody in their family passes away, you show up to the house. Buy groceries, buy groceries, buy food, but you're not doing it to be seen. You're doing it because you know that kid needs you. It's being in the moments where they're not shining. That's the most important part.
So let's just say, you can work an example, to use names, something like that. If you have a student that's an issue, you're trying to pour into them, trying to be there for them, but then it's just pushback. But you can't, you don't feel like you want to let them go. How do you work through that? How do you deal with
that? You got to press reset every day. You have to press reset every day because kids gonna take you there sometimes. But a lot of times we have to realize as adults, they're only reciprocating behaviors they deal with at home. You have to learn how to reset your brain every morning to say, I'm gonna give it another try. This is where the consistency comes in. This part, it's going to be tough because some kids they just gonna be difficult. Listen, some of these kids are gonna be difficult, but consistency. Hey, this kid is angry. They got anger issues. They throwing off the handle. Don't give them the energy they want, but you be consistent. Hey, I'm just here for you. I'm just letting you know I'm here for you whenever you're ready. And every time they pop off, you hot, take a break. The next day, come back. Hey, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. Just be consistent. Just because the more you show consistency, that wall eventually breaks. And I've dealt with some rough ones. I've dealt with some kids. You'd be like, man, what in the world? When I was at Renaissance for 2 years. And so a lot of the kids now that were giving me hard times now, I see them in the street. Hey, Mr. Coach, what's going on, man? Like, I really appreciate everything you did. Like, I got a job now. I'm doing this. Even as grown men, they'll call and be like, hey, I need help finding a job. Okay, here's a contact. Call this person. Knowing not to shut the door on them because they might have been bad in school, because nobody shut the door on us. Somebody gave us an opportunity. And sometimes that's the biggest thing. They want to see that you care. They don't, like they say, they don't care what you know until they know you care. Yeah. And they know you care by consistency.
Yeah. And don't hold grudges. They're kids. Don't hold grudges. Like you said, every day is a new day. Because it could be whatever they're going through. It was they had no electricity at the house. Right. They didn't have any food at the house. Mom and dad situation is bad. Anything could have happened, and now they're coming to lash out and trying to get attention. Yep. In your space where you are. So in the next day, it could be totally different.
Think about the kid. This is something I've told to some teachers before. Think about the kid that comes to your room you've never had an issue with. This one particular day, they snapping off. And you going back and forth with them, but you ain't thinking, this kid has never done that before. Something's wrong. Yeah. Something's off. This kid ain't never cussed me out. Okay, So in that moment, instead of getting in your feelings, because a lot of teachers, they talk about the kids being, a lot of these teachers are so emotional now. What they do is they start fussing and fighting with the kid. Then we got a problem. No, something's not right. Let me find out what's going on with this kid. Let me find out what's going on with this kid. And then we move from there. Pull them out in the hallway. Hey, what's going on with you? This ain't your normal behavior. Everything all right? It's something as simple as, are you okay?
Yeah.
Holds a lot of weight. I've had kids in my room in ISS, and I think it was my first year after you left. I took over after you left. It's one girl. She had like 3 days in my room. And she sat down, and the first thing I did was like, what's wrong? She broke down and cried immediately. And in the process, first thing she said was, nobody's ever asked me what's wrong. They just fuss at me and write me up.
Yeah.
Simple question. Hey, are you good? Even when they snap off and cuss me out, I'd be like, yo, you good? And they stop because I'm not reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back in the day, back in the day, yeah, you get all the smoke. But now I don't react. Just, yo, you good? You need a minute? I'm not giving them the energy they want.
Yeah.
So then they gotta come down. Then, oh man, I'm sorry, man. They'll come back and apologize. I'm sorry, man. I just had a rough morning. Mom cussed me out before I got on the bus, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what these kids are going through sometimes. Now, granted, there are some that's just jerks. Let's just keep it all the way 100. Yeah. There's going to be some. Out of 20, there's 3 or 4 that's just like, nothing you going to do going to reach them. Okay, cool. But what about the other 16? What about the other 17? You going to shut the door on them because those 3 got on your nerves?
And the thing is, and I don't know, I've been through just training through, just trying to get, resiliency training and trying to get kids to come back into the classroom and stuff like that. So I've learned these situations, these tactics. A lot of these kids, and they don't teach teachers this stuff. A lot of these kids, because if we're all in the classroom and you and I got beef, or I'm being acting a fool because I want attention, and the teacher's mouthing off at me, I'm not gonna look like a punk in front of my boys.
Right.
So I'm not gonna give up anything. So that's why, if you can have a one-on-one, have a side conversation, because they're not gonna give you anything while their peers are watching.
Right. And that's the thing too. It's like us as adults. Here's something I always ask, and I've asked this on my TikTok before. If the principal came at you in front of your peers the same way you come at your students, how you gonna react? You gonna get in your feelings too. If you in a faculty meeting, and let's put it on the education part. You in a faculty meeting, and you having a side conversation with, which we do in faculty meetings. Have a side conversation. Principal stops the whole meeting. Hey, why are you talking? Now you grown. And they coming at you with that. Hey, I told y'all be quiet. And they come and they directed at you in front of everybody. How you gonna feel? Or they putting up testing scores, and you got the lowest score. They call you out. Hey, Ian Tatum, I know you ain't laughing. Your class got a 42%. What you laughing for? How you gonna feel? That's how the kids feel when they get that done to them.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, you got a 43 on the test. Everybody else passed. So why you back there laughing? You think kids don't feel the same way we feel if that happened to us? And that's what it takes. Like, another strategy I use, put yourself in their shoes for that minute. Before you react, how would you handle what you're about to say to them? Take 2 seconds. How would I handle what I'm about to say to them?
Because that requires having to give away some power.
You got to give away some power in those moments. It's not that hard. But the problem is, a lot of these teachers are so power hungry and so emotionally driven that they gotta win. They gotta win. You don't have to win the battle. You don't have to win the battle to win the war. In every war, you might lose 1 or 2 battles to win the war. You're gonna give up some ground eventually. But those little arguments, pick and choose your battles.
Yep.
I'm not arguing with this kid. I'm not arguing with this kid because he texts on his phone. I'm not putting him on blast for that. Give me your phone. You see the TikTok videos with teachers like, give me your phone. Blah, they ready to fight the kid because the kid don't want to give them. I'm not arguing that. You got it, bro. Good. All right, I'm gonna fill this, we're gonna fill this out, whatever. Or I'll talk to you after class. Because I've done that.
Yeah.
Kids want to be disrespectful in the moment. Cool, you got it. I'm gonna let you have that back. I'm not about to go toe-to-toe with you. You good. Now back again, I one thing about me, I'm always gonna keep it 100. Back in the day, I'm going toe-to-toe, but then I realized how much energy I was wasting on that. So now it's, all right, I'll talk to you after class. After class, hey, can I talk to you real quick, bro? Hey, listen, I try to be respectful. I just expect the same thing in return. So, I asked you to put your phone away. All I'm asking you to put your phone up. It ain't even had to be all that. Ain't no crowd around, so they're not going to react now. It's just you and them. And if they give you attitude, it is what it is. Hey, I'm just letting you know, next time I got to write you up because I was trying to do it the cool way this time and just let you kind of like put it to the side. Next time I got to write you up because you're not following directions. That's it.
And follow through and mean it.
And follow through. Consistency. If I say I'm going to write you up next time, it can't just be for the kids you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be for every single kid in there that does the same thing. Because if we're going to be real, let's keep it all the way 100. Because I worked in some schools and I work with some teachers that are very selective in kids that they write up for the same infraction. You got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching a lesson in the class. You're teaching your subject matter, but you're also teaching life lessons at the same time. So if I'm going to, and if this does not pertain to you, don't get in your feelings. I'm just telling you, not saying you, but I'm just telling you what I've experienced and seen because I worked in discipline at a high school and I work at ISS now. You got some teachers, and teachers, let's be real. Like I've dealt with some older white teachers who don't know how to relate to the black kids. So every time a black kid reacts, it's threatening to them. But the other kid, the white kid, it did the exact same thing, but you understand your culture. So it's not offensive to you when Johnny's like, oh my God, okay. But my dude Rashad's like, all right, man, dang. You don't understand how we operate. You don't understand the culture. So now that's threatening. So the other kid, you write one kid up, but Johnny, he, all right, Johnny, next time I write you up, you get that like 15 times. Because I've been in schools where I worked at a high school and I worked in discipline where I processed interim referrals. I processed these things. And I tell you, the imbalance was there. The imbalance was there. Where I'm like, you can't tell me it's all black kids with their cell phones out in class. You can't tell me that. There's no way you can convince me that in this class that it's only the black kids that have their cell phones out. And I've had kids tell me, no, I wasn't, but I got rolled up. So as a teacher and a coach, you naturally become a mentor, whether you want to or not. You've taken on that mantle because you have to pour into the kids. And some of those things come with life lessons. And you can't be scared to teach them. Because once they see blood in the water, it's over for you.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the consistency piece.
Yeah. So like bring it back to like coaching and stuff like that. We've had situations where, you got to coach kids differently.
Yeah.
My personality is different than your personality, different than the next one. So you got to figure out how to coach them, not breaking the standard, not lowering the standard of the program, but you got to be able to figure out, like you say, pick your battles.
Battles.
If a kid is talking back, not listening to coaching, he's slacking off, he just ain't doing it. Okay, move him to the side. Move the drill. You're not going to participate until you want to come back. You're not going to participate.
At your age, it was an anomaly to see a younger coach come in and hold that line. Yeah. Because I worked with older coaches who wouldn't hold the line. I'm gonna be. If it's a kid that's not that talented, then yeah, all right, get out of the way, whatever like that. But the kid is talented, you're gonna figure out how to get him right, and you're gonna let him. You were one of the first young coaches I seen come in and say, "All right, move. You move, talented or not, move. Next guy up." And that's when I was like, "About time," because I'm keeping 100. Like for a minute while I was there, we coached that together. I was one of the few ones that would do it. Senior come in, he's slacking off, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're a senior, so cats will let him rock. I don't believe in that. You seen me. I bench seniors.
Yeah.
I will bench a senior for a freshman quick.
Yeah.
I got 1 season with you. I got 4 with him. You don't want to listen? Cool. It's your senior year. I still love you. But this kid right here got 4 years with me. I can groom him to act the way I need him to act and perform the way I need him to perform. You made your decision. Consistency. I'd rather lose a game than lose the lesson.
Yep.
Not going to lose the lesson. And I think a lot of coaches miss that because they want to win so bad. Newsflash, and I said this before, I promise you, that 10-win season, they're not going to remember 10 years from now. They're not going to remember. They're not going to remember that they went 10-0. What they're going to remember is which coaches impacted them. Which coach from that team helped them be a better man? Which coach from that team helped them be a better student? And this is any male, woman, whatever, however you are, whatever. They're only going to remember how they were treated. That 10-0 means nothing when they're 35 and got kids. It doesn't translate. Just like I tell coaches all the time, what you accomplished does not matter. What you accomplished in high school does not. Those stories no longer matter. Are you helping them become a better person? Are you helping them become more than an athlete? Because I've had to look at the news and see a kid that I coach arrested or dead. I've gotten those phone calls in the middle of the night that one of my students was gunned down or one of my students got arrested for gunning somebody down because they didn't listen. And I've had the guilt of feeling like I dropped the ball somewhere. Until you have that feeling, you are not a mentor yet. You are just a coach with a matching shirt and a whistle. When you feel that guilt, like you fumbled the ball somewhere with that kid, you ain't mentoring. Because when you mentor, it's more here. It's more in your heart. When a kid messes up, that joint affects you. That's when you know you mentor.
Yeah, because I get to that point where it's like I get frustrated when a kid doesn't do right. Maybe doesn't run the play right, and this is all coaches. But you're not mad because he's messing up the play. You're mad because he can get it right. The same thing. If you see a kid that maybe drops out, or he's a kid that doesn't pass a class, you're not mad at them. You're mad that they can do it, but you feel like maybe if I did something a little more, maybe right. if I called him and maybe I tried to tutor him or get him tutoring or this and that, or if I spend a little more time here or prepared a little more time there, and it hurts you, personally, and it's not because we lost. No, it's because they didn't play well because I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
And you recognize it. And I'll tell you, and people ask, I've been asked, what did you do when you started it off? Well, when I first started mentoring kids, I was working at a middle school, and I had these 4 brothers that I had in that school program, and I would just take them with me everywhere. And it went from us training together on Sundays, so I would take them to the park, we would train football, to me taking them to church with me and then going to train, to now you start to become that somewhat of a father figure. So now it transcends the field. Now we're into we're into church, and now we're big events coming up. I'm taking you because it's experiences I need you to see. I was driving them to state championship games. When Lake Taylor won a state championship in 2012, I drove like a car with 4 kids with me in it. I need you to see this because it was at UVA. They never been. Okay, cool. Let's go to UVA. Let's go to state championship game. It's the experiences of life. Kids who never been to Busch Gardens. Come on, we're going to Busch Gardens. I remember one of my kids I was coaching at Maury before I came to Tallwood, and he told me he'd never been. My now wife at the time, she was like, okay, cool. She bought tickets. We all went to Busch Gardens. That's the piece that a lot of people don't want to do. because it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Sometimes you gotta feed these kids. I remember coaching youth ball with my uncle and my mom was a team mom, and we would be driving. We would have a van loaded of kids, and we stopped by McDonald's every night to make sure they ate before they went home. Mm-hmm. That's what we would. It was ingrained in me.
Yeah.
Don't because you don't know if you don't know if they're gonna eat it all. Yeah. So yeah, I might have to drop my last $30 to feed these kids.
And you don't have your phone out there taking pictures of it.
No, for what?
Exactly.
For what? Like I need to show that I went to
get on the cloud game. It's insane.
The cloud game is on another level now, to the point where it's like we got coaches that attention seek more than kids. It's scary how much these coaches attention seek. I gotta post this picture with this kid. And the kid you ain't even around the kid beyond that one moment. So stop it. Me and Coach Paxson, we coach together now. We took kids to Temple. I mean, kids was like, we had fun in Philly. We took them to Temple University for a camp. This is an experience. So we're taking pictures in an experience. Rocky statue, going to get cheesesteaks at the college. Not videoing them. Yeah, got these boys loaded up. I'm about to drive them to Temple because they ain't never been out the city. This is what we get now. Yeah. We get everybody like, here's the new thing, the new trend that's going on now, and it's irritating me. Everybody like, oh, we need to put a cookout together for the kids to stop the violence. So giving them a hot dog and a hamburger is really going to stop them from picking up guns. Okay. No, it's the in-between times. If you going to have a cookout, that's one day. That's like 3 hours. What are you going to do the other 21 hours of that day and the days after that when they need somebody to talk to them before they go get that gun? That's the time that matters. Not you trying to put on a show so you can post pictures on social media that you had a cookout. No, it's the in-between times where they got into it with somebody in the street, and instead of them, them coming to somebody to talk them down, they ready to go kill them. Or somebody's getting ready to kill them because of an interaction. The in-between times. The moments where they ain't got that offer yet, and they feeling like they're a failure because they didn't get that D1 offer. So now they feel like a failure. Where you at then? Those are the times where they need you. Those are the times where you should be pouring into them. Hey, man, you're not a failure, man. You're not a failure. We going to figure something out. Because believe me, I tell kids all the time, you ain't got nothing figured out by June, the military will have you. Or trade school will have you. I will create a plan for you because I don't want you roaming these streets without anything to do. That's mentoring. Not coaching for 4 seasons and after graduation, that's it. Help them survive. We're losing kids left and right because we got people that just want to be in the moment and not in their life. It's a difference.
I treat these kids I treated my kids like I remember when my wife and I were dating, and I would make reference. My players. I would say my kids. She's like, "What kids?" I was like, "My players." I was like, "Oh, well, you said it like you had kids." I'm like, to a certain degree, I do. Like, I'm not Northern Wayne anymore, but I still will text those kids.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What did y'all do at practice? Like, I got a kid that said went to some state down here. I'd be like, I ask them all the time, how's classes going? How did you finish up? Have you staying out of trouble? You're having fun, but staying out of trouble. Mm-hmm. Like, just make sure that you have those different conversations, and so they know you care.
And have the real conversations. Don't have just the fun conversations.
Yeah.
Have the real ones.
Yeah.
Because some of these kids out here need that. They need a real influence, positive. But we're so easy to influence with fun. Them kids that I was taking to church, they didn't like going to church at first. But God was like, get your butt up and get them there. Because even after they graduated, if they they grown now. So they do their thing now, but they check in from time to time. But I know the seed was planted. Because I got them there.
Yeah.
Whenever it blossoms is on God, but I made sure that they knew who he was. And that's the main thing with me as a mentor is like I'm not pouring into your kid because I think it makes me look good. Because I'll say this, and you and I have joked before about a lot of coaches in this area who post on social media this and that. A lot of those coaches that be hyping themselves up and stuff on social media. I'm here to tell you right now, they used you. Your parents needed you to coach their kid, but they don't ever call you for a letter of recommendation because they call me.
Yeah.
They inbox me for a letter of recommendation for their kid because they know that you didn't really care. You just needed them. You served your purpose, which was to coach them for those years, and they got in school. But when they need that letter of recommendation for money, they know you ain't capable of writing it because it's not in your heart. A lot of these kids that I've mentored are all over this area. I just never say anything. I don't say anything. But because that's just how I am. Now I could really name drop all day. Like for what? Because then I'm not for the kids, but these so-called mentors, you got a name drop. They gotta tag your name on a Twitter post. Oh, don't post the offer without tagging me. If you really cared about the kid, it wouldn't matter because you'd still be able to support the kid. But you need your name on the post. I've never been like, make sure you put my name on there. Now I will tell a kid, if you get one, just post it. Whether my name's on it or not, don't matter. That's your moment.
Yeah.
That ain't for me. But these guys, I gotta have my name on it. Make sure you put my name on it. I've even gotten word from kids that the certain coaches will post it for them. Like if they're at school, at practice, and all, they will post it for them and tag themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Who is it about? But that's I think in those moments, a kid should realize you ain't really about me. But they're not. So I take mentoring and pouring into the next generation very seriously. It's not a game to me. This is who God made me to be.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to teach because I'm one person.
Yeah.
I'm one person. If I'm one person and I can reach 20 kids, imagine if I can teach 200 coaches my strategies, 200 coaches and another set of 200 teachers my strategies to mentor 20 kids each. Imagine how many kids we could save.
Yep.
And that's my goal. That's my goal. Bottom line, I'm not here to be like I'm a guru and you got to call and beg me for the information. No. Now, it ain't free. It ain't free, but I will do it because I think about the next generation and how bad they need quality mentorship. Mm-hmm. They picking up guns faster than they picking up, books.
Yeah.
They lost. And go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
No, you could. No, I was telling my wife today. I was like, I'm doing this with you, and I didn't. I was like, all I said was mentoring and education and coaching, and you were like, let's get it. Like you didn't say nothing. You didn't be like, hey, I don't really want to talk about this because I might have something, something like no. Go straight up. Let's do it.
Let's go.
It's not like because you have your business. And you're good at what you do, and you should be paid for it. But like you didn't want like you weren't like no, what I do, I gotta get paid for it. I gotta set up something. No, you're like, let's talk.
I'm not gonna big time nobody because exactly. I'm a servant. I'm a servant, man. Like I was raised with a servant mentality. God created me to be a servant. So, and you my bro. So like no, I'm not gonna be like, you gotta talk to my personnel and see if they can fit you. I'm not doing that to you. You're my bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we talking about something I'm passionate about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never gonna big time anybody, especially when it comes to information to help these kids be better. Who do I think I am? To be like, bro, let me check my schedule. No, I'm in the middle today. I've been at my church today since 9:30 this morning. It's 9:14. We've been setting up for Vacation Bible School starting tomorrow. Hey, I gotta go do this talk. Because why? Because there are people who might want to know, like, yo, what does it take? It takes a grind. Because you're inherently adding on kids to your life. You coach a roster of 50, 60 kids, you can, if each coach reaches 10, you can save most of their lives. You can have them become successful people. And I'm not just talking about football. I'm talking about any sport, any extracurricular, even a parent to their own kid who is confused on how to reach their kid. Because it's a different breed out here. Yeah. And you gotta know, you gotta understand them because they different. They not how we were. These kids think differently. They operate differently. They more emotionally in tune. So learning how to navigate them is going to help you be successful. I'll teach anybody because I'm a servant first.
Let me ask you this. I don't want to keep you too long, but
No,
let me ask you this. What's been one of those difficult things in let's say in your business or in mentoring or anything like that? What's been the most difficult thing to kind of like get through personally? To be like, whether it be, you're like God's telling you to do this. Like, what has been the most hardest thing for you to be like, hey, I gotta take a back seat so this can be at the front.
And she might be so mad that I say this. I tell this. I had to learn. God had to show me balance last year. And I'm I'm being transparent this, but I'm being real. Because I gave so much of my time to everything else, I was on the brink of divorce last year. A lot of people don't know that. I was so close to it because I wasn't in position where he needed me, where God needed me to be as a husband. But I was trying to be in position everywhere else. And God, I remember in the process of us we were going through one day, I went 2 days. I didn't do it. I didn't eat anything. I just drank while fasting for 2 days. Didn't do anything but drink water and just spent time with God for those 2 days. And God was like, you need balance. Not only do you need to figure out yourself, and God's like, I'm going to help you do this, you need balance. Because there's always another level that you got to get to become who God needs you to be. And God was like, I can't take you to the next level if your marriage is not working. Listen, it's easy. Social media, you can make it look clean all day. You can make it look great all day. But if I'm not whole in the house where I was needed first, God was like, you're not gonna surpass this level you're on. So that was the hardest thing that I dealt with. Fighting to save my marriage while still pouring into as a coach, while still pouring in as a mentor, because it's a fight. Balance is not easy. It takes balance. But when you got a great woman that's willing to be by your side, but you shut her out because you trying to be this community person, you can't fault anybody by yourself. It not that she was saying you can't do it. It's just, I need you here too. So God was like, find the balance. Find the balance and be what you need to be on all avenues. And since then, that's when I remember last year, I put a post up on Facebook. I think you saw it. And I was like, God said 2023 is going to be a year. And since I became obedient to him in that process, like everything has just kind of been like a straight line. Like doors have been opening. I've been able to meet people that I probably would have never met before. I've been able to, me, I'm a huge Eric Thomas fan. I'm a huge Eric Thomas fan. And so I was meeting with his men's group every day from his church on Zoom. And this one particular day, I'm talking on the Zoom. And then he chimes in. He's like, well, Ray, let me tell you this real quick. And I said, hold on, wait, what? wait a minute. Whoa. Did he just say my name? But he checked me on a lot of stuff. So I had to go through my convictions as a man to be the business person and to be the mentor, become the speaker that God needed me to be. I'm now in charge of a whole youth department at a church because I found balance and I became obedient to God. So now I'm doing what He needs me to do on another level. And that's the biggest thing. That was the hardest thing I've ever fought through.
Hell yeah. Cause I appreciate you talking about, like, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I mean,
No, you
but I
good. You
appreciate
know I'm
you being
always
open
gonna be
and
real.
honest. That's a good word right there. Like, I mean, I'm getting convicted right there, man.
You got,
Um,
and I know it's coaches, and that wasn't me. Because I normally I'm a transfer member, but I know that was God was like, okay, give him all of you. And the biggest thing is that as coaches, we got to remember who has our back when nobody else has our back. And we pour a lot of time and energy into kids and into other people's kids, and the women that have that are backbone, our wives and significant others, they are backbones. We can't forget about them in the process. They may not want to be on the sideline and in the stands every week, but just acknowledging that, like they just there and they sacrificing. They're making sacrifices every day so we can do what we do. They doing a lot of stuff so we can do what we do, because you got to think about the man hours we put in as coaches. We putting in hours. So the average woman ain't trying to, or the average significant other ain't trying to be home by themselves that much. So think about the sacrifices they got. Game days on Friday. First of all, we get home late from practice about 6:37, 8 o'clock. Game days on Fridays. Analyzing film Saturday morning. Staying out late after the game. The only day they get is what, Sunday? And they hang in there for 10 weeks. Through the off season. Hey, season about to pick back up, babe. I just want to let you know, season about, we starting to condition. So I'm gonna be home late, They got our back. God didn't send you that person for you to treat like she ain't there. And I did that for a couple of years. Because I wanted to be seen as this great coach. I wanted to be seen as this great mentor, but I forgot I had to be a husband too. That was the biggest thing. And once I lined all that up, God was like, you about to hit another level. It's like Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan level. Like you hit that next level, God, like thank you. You listened and you achieved. You're now at the next level, because I almost lost it because I cared more about what I looked like on the outside than who I really was on the inside. That's me being real.
yeah. All right, so maybe we'll transition from that. Last thing I'm gonna talk to you about, kind of bring it back up, because that was a great word. Let me talk to you real quick. And this ain't got nothing to do with mentorship, but how my boys at Tallwood gonna do this year, coach?
Hey, listen. I think we finally transcended and turned the corner. We finally got the right group of leaders in there, because I do leadership training for for the team and stuff like that. So we finally got the right core leaders, like consistently holding each other accountable. I'm saying this year, I'm putting it on record right now. We shooting for the Beach District title. I ain't shooting for nothing less. Yeah. That's just me. That's the energy. That's the energy we bringing. We bringing that. We coming to war for 10 weeks. And at the end of those 10 weeks, when the dust settle, my prayer is that we holding that Beach District title.
That's awesome. I see y'all posted on Twitter. So with that, I see them guys in there lifting heavyweight, coach.
Man, Coach Paxson, I got to give a shout out to our trainer, the guys who designed the workout program. Coach Johnson and Coach Paxson, they put something together this year. I was like, I got stronger, because you and I always lifted with the guys. So I've been doing it. I got stronger. Like I'm hitting, like I'm repping like 225, 235. I ain't never did that in my life.
Yeah.
So it's working, and I'm old now. I'm about to be 40 in a month or so. So yeah, it works. I think, and the boys are hungry. Yeah. They hungry. Like the ones who've been there, you can see the consistency. Like look at your boy Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Bam Bam, he's deadlifting almost 600.
Yeah.
And then getting down on himself when he ain't get it. Like it wasn't like, oh shoot, I just like he sat on the bench and like almost had tears in his eyes when he didn't get 600. It's a different breed. This is the group that I think as a staff we've been waiting for because they're setting the tone for the kids underneath them.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I don't want to keep it too long because I got to do some other stuff for practice tomorrow.
We back at it tomorrow too. So I gotta be at Vacation Bible School at 5:30 in the morning, and because I gotta open the building and we got practice tomorrow. So
yeah. So, but yeah, guys, if you want to know anything more about what we've been talking about, Coach has his credentials right there. I'm gonna tag his stuff, on socials and all that stuff. You can always hit him up. He's always gonna be gracious to talk about whatever you want to talk about and trying to help you out. But Coach, I appreciate you talking to me and all the guys here about mentoring and coaching and education.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Like you know me. Anytime you call and be like, bro, can we talk about? Yep, I'm gonna carve out that time for you, bro, because I know it's genuine. And I know it's in your heart. I know it's not you just trying to build your numbers. It's because you really want to help people.
And likewise, you ever need me to do if you need me to do anything, I'm always there for you. And I think our bye week this year, y'all play Bayside at home. I don't know if we can make it or not, but I'm gonna try and be up there and try to make it for that game.
Listen, long as you like make it to one, because the one you always come to, we win. So I need you to pull up. I need you to pull up for one, so we can go ahead and get that and go get them wings after the game over.
Exactly. All right, Coach. I appreciate you. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Love you, bro. Be easy.
Yes, sir. See you.